Oh, she was a fine ship. 46,000 tons, 4 funnels. One was a dummy, but they had 4. They were buff colour with black boot topping. She was about 900 feet overall, 90 feet at midships. We had 16 lifeboats, 8 on port, 8 on starboard side. The lifeboats were fully loaded, would carry 50 passengers. And when you come to think that we had 2,300 on board, the lifeboats didn't carry too many. They could carry, if they'd been fully loaded, 800. The whole tragedy of the sinking of the Titanic was speed. That was better. The only thing they thought about was speed. And we were doing 25 knots from the time we left Queenstown. And the morning of the 14th, we knew, and we knew there was ice. There was ice all over the place. But nobody seemed to. I suppose they did care a bit, but I don't know. We had the designer on board, Andrews, and we had Bruce Ismay, the chairman, who lost his job over it because I think it was through him being on board that we were out to break that record. Then things began to happen, and she was taken in water, and she was gradually listing over to port. Then I thought, well, I don't know, this is something very serious now. And then we had orders to get the boats out, and all the lifeboats were swung out. And I might tell you that the distance from the lifeboats to the water was 70-odd feet. And then we had orders to women and children into the lifeboats. She gradually sank by the head, and you could feel everything going through her. A rumble of everything movable was going down. And she gradually, she went down, then she came up, and she was almost vertical out of the water. And I climbed, there were 2 boards aft, which said, "Keep clear of propeller blades." And I was hanging on to this, waiting to drop in. You couldn't see the water, we were too far away from it. I had a lifebelt on. I let go, and as I passed, I saw the 2 propeller blades looming out of the water. When I hit the water, we hit it with a terrific bang, knocked all the wind out of me. I was very lucky that I didn't hit anything in the water, because the wreckage was all round the stern, and there were, I think, nearly 100 people all round the stern too.
The most senior officer to survive was Second Officer Charles Lightoller, who had to swim for his life as the ship went down. 32 years later, during the Second World War, he saved 122 soldiers from the beaches of Dunkirk. Second Officer Lightoller from a radio interview in 1937.
That ship was the Californian, and though her lights were plain to everyone on board the Titanic, she seemed to pay not the slightest heed either to our wireless calls or to the distress signals we were firing every minute. The reason why she didn't answer our wireless calls, which other ships heard halfway around the earth, was because she only carried 1 wireless operator. And when we struck the iceberg, he'd just gone off watch, so it was no fault of his. But why no notice was taken of our distress signals, shells that are fired hundreds of feet up into the air to explode with a cascade of stars, heaven only knows.